The wealthiest people in the world understands a few things that you don't. And one of those things that they understand is that there is no secret to financial success, but there are processes. And it is absolutely necessary when you want to build wealth to commit the time, talent, and the resources to understand these processes. And a lot of the processes is built around you understanding debt and how to buy debt, leverage debt, and mitigate debt. Today, I want to talk to you a little bit about how that process works because our vision at Global Capital Inc. is to provide you, whether you're in business or whether you are the average individual who wants to achieve more financially, is to provide you with a content of information that really enables you to make informed and educated decisions as to steps that you can take to start to build wealth. Get off of the paycheck to paycheck cycle and really start to embrace an ideology that helps you to understand what is generational wealth and intergenerational wealth. We have that commitment to you, whether you're in business or whether you're the private individual who wants to achieve more financially. Now, one of the first things that I want to bring to you when you're buying a debt is to understand something about that debt. Is that debt a good debt or a bad debt? And the only way to predetermine whether your debt is a good debt or a bad debt is to clearly identify how that debt will cash flow. Absolutely necessary. So, whether you are buying a house, an investment property, or you've taken a debt to invest in a business, it's important that you know how that debt is going to cash flow. Now, let me say this to you. If that debt that you're buying is not going to cash flow, first of all, it's a bad debt. If you have to go into your personal income to deal with that monthly debt obligation, which might be amortized and collateralized, it's a bad debt. And the wealthiest people in the world understands everything about this process. And now it's time for you to understand it. So the first thing is to understand how the debt is going to cash flow. Now, let me say this. I want to talk a little bit about positive cash flow. It is not enough for you to say that this is your financial projection and base the cash flowing potential of the debt simply based on a speculative financial projection. It is necessary that you take the time to understand precisely how that debt is going to cash flow. So if you take the debt to buy a house, it's very important that you understand the potential of the house to cash flow. And beyond the potential of the house to cash flow, it's important for you to understand the accommodators and the enablers and to ensure that you're building out relationships with the accommodators and the enablers. For example, what I'm saying is that if you're taking a debt to invest in real estate, you need to know that you are buying real estate in areas where there are heavy demand and perhaps where you have a waiting list. It is that waiting list that gives you the guarantee that the debt will cash flow. The wealthiest people know this. The smartest people know this. It's time for you to get this kind of information. All right. Now, when you come to our Wealth Leadership Masterclass, we will go much deeper into these concepts. The second thing for you to understand when you're buying a debt is to understand the costs to manage that debt. And we're going to call the cost expenditure because you might be a debt to set up your business, it might be a debt to buy income property, whether or not you will have expenses to manage that debt. If even is your monthly debt obligation to the financial institution, you will have expenses to cover on a monthly basis. You need to clearly understand this. And it is by understanding this, you're able to come to what we call your NOI, your net operating income. Your net operating income is your gains after you would have removed your expenses from your income. What is left back, it is called your NOI, net operating income. There's something else that we call your ROI, return on investment. This is a beautiful subject matter, but I want to take some time later on to go deeper into what is the ROI. So I'll skip that for today. What I want to come to next is what I call the market analytics. And I did mention this earlier. In taking a debt to invest that debt into business, into income property, into whatever it is, it's important for you to take the time to really understand your market. We call this market analytics. You need to know that the market is strong, the market is accommodating, the market is enabling. And by this, let me become a little bit more clearer. To do the market analytics, it means that you have taken the time to understand your target market. And in identifying your target market, you've also taken the time to identify their needs and wants and expectations, their dreams and hopes and aspirations, their lifestyle, culture, and social class. You have taken the time to understand that. And beyond taking the time to understand this, you want to go one step further. Because here is where you're now shifting away from speculative analysis. You're shifting away from outdated secondary data, and you're now embracing primary data analysis. And largely because you're embracing primary data analysis, it allows you to achieve something that speculative analysis and outdated analytics will not allow you to achieve, and that is direct contact with potential consumers. And it is this direct contact with the potential consumers that allows you to clearly identify some of those accommodators and enablers, and you are now to build out the healthiest of relationship with them, pre-cash flow of that debt. Yes, the wealthiest people understand this. The smartest people in business understand this. And I'm happy to say at Global Capital Inc., we have some of those people to help you through these debt acquisition, debt leverage, and debt mitigation processes. The last concept that I'm going to bring to you now is what we call debt management. Because of course, it's all about taking that debt. Most people are trained to run away from debt. Of course, if it's a bad debt, run as fast as you can. But if it's a good debt and you understand how to leverage debt, embrace that debt. Fall in love with that debt. Make it a part of your love language. And that's what we teach you at Global Capital Inc. with the wealth leadership programs that we are offering. The last concept that I want us to look at today is what we call debt management. You buy a debt. And this is the trap that we see most persons buying debt. Sometimes the smartest people do this. You buy a debt without understanding essential elements of that debt. Your debt has a life cycle. You need to know that. Your debt has a cost we call interest rates. And failing to understand your debt life cycle and your debt cost can cause you hurt in the long run. There is some essential knowledge that the wealthy knows about this, and most others do not know, that you should now know. Now let me say this. The life cycle of the debt influences the cost of the debt, regardless of how you look at it. It literally influences the interest rate of that debt. In most cases, when you understand financial intelligence, it's not nothing much for you to worry about. Many businesses continue to say that The cost for that is high. The cost for that is high in most cases because you do not know how to mitigate the debt cost. In this whole process, it's important for you to understand debt tools. Part of the debt management systems is about you understanding debt tools. Again, I'm happy to say that at Global Capital Inc., we have designed some of those debt tools. And we are happy to share those debt tools with you when you come in to our Wealth Leadership Bootcamp. One of those debt tools is something that we call land banking. It's about land asset acquisition, it's about land asset leverage, it's about land asset protection. The leveraging of that asset, it is something that can serve you tremendously well when it comes to debt mitigation. I know you may not understand everything that I'm saying to you right now, but this is only one of the debt tools that we are using. There are many, many, many other that we use as part of our asset management portfolios. So the next time you're thinking about buying a debt, ask yourself, if that debt perhaps is $100 million or $50 million, I want you to ask yourself if there is a way to reduce that debt by 60%, by 50%, by 40%. And by that, what I mean, you borrow a debt of $100 million. The life cycle of that debt perhaps is about 10, 20 years. And let us just say that the debt cost is about 10% per annum. Are you aware of the total debt cost over the debt life cycle? Let us say 20 years. In 20 years, with a debt cost, the debt principal balance is $100 million. The interest rate is 10% over 20 years. You're paying back $200 million. So you're paying $100 million on the principal balance of that debt. Now, it is the debt interest rate that can be mitigated. Perhaps from that extra $100 million that you're going to be paying to perhaps $40 million, $50 million, $60 million, all right, $70 million. If even you're able to save $30 million on that debt portfolio, it's a whole lot of money in the bank. It's a whole lot of money to be reinvested. And these are skill sets that the financial literate understand. This is the knowledge base and knowledge transfer that we want to give to you when you become a part of the Global Capital Inc. 10X Wealth Leadership Initiative. There's so much to talk about, but I'm going to stop here today and encourage you to get registered for our free wealth leadership programs. If you have a business, you need to support, scale, diversify, and expand your operation. We are the people to talk to. All right. We're in a period of COVID-19, and I want to encourage you to be safe, be smart, protect yourself, protect your loved ones. At Global Capital Inc., we have a team of dynamic persons. We have a team of business consultants. I have been a lecturer at the American University for a few years. I've lectured the diploma and the degree in marketing. We also have persons who are in the field of economists. We have, subject matter specialists in economists. We have subject matter specialists in certified public accountants. We have a legal team we're still building. We have professional business consultants to give you support with your business. As I said, the programs that we're offering, they are for business icons, entrepreneurs, and the average person who wants to achieve more financially. So reach out to us. We are here to support you in your endeavors. Be blessed. Be safe. My name is Gary Thompson. I'm a business development consultant by profession. I'm a humanitarian by nature, and I'm the multiple best-selling author for several books, including Manager's Toolkits. My new book titled 10X Branding and Marketing, The Psychology of Doing Business, is going to be out very soon. So I want to ask you to like this podcast, share this podcast, subscribe to this program, YouTube page, share this program among your friends if you believe that this program is beneficial to you and it can bring other benefits to persons within your quality circle. Do share this program. Be blessed. Be safe. See you soon.